Hey guys, welcome yet again to another Loomian Legacy Sweep. I'm Mr. Lucky Luke, and today's one we got ourselves a Glacadia sweep. So, we are going to be doing today a roaming sweep that not only a lot of you probably expected, but I did ask for the poll, and I asked for you people whether if you wanted to see a Glacadia or an Arceus sweep. I hope I said it right. So I asked for you people, and 67% of you people wanted to see a Glacadia sweep, so I decided to do it for y'all. Now, this is going to be the Loomian here. It's an Ice Ancient type, and it's one of my probably my favorite design to compare it to the Arceus. I like this one better. It definitely has a little more smoother design. It looks a little bit cooler, in my opinion. No offense for Arceus fans. You also have a decent taste of liking it. Definitely cool. It's an Ice Ancient type, and it has pretty nice stats. All right, it actually have over 700 base stats, which is gonna be a little bit easier. It has 119 range attack, 111 for speed, 102 for range defense, 115 for energy. And then its other stats is just okay, but not the best. Very okay, but not the best. It gets 96 for health, 69 for 69 for melee defense, and 88 for melee attack. So this one is obviously makes this thing a range attacker. So for today's sweep, we're going to be making use out of its very, very powerful range attacking set. Not also that, we're also going to be using and make use out of its new move called Frost Blast. Now, compared to Frost Beam, which a lot of people probably expected, this is basically a stronger version of Frost Beam. Basically, this is kind of like Blizzard. So, Frost Beam is like Ice Beam, and Frost Blast is basically your Blizzard in this game. So, Frost Blast is a 110 power strength move. Which has a says here the user launches a large icy projectile at the target and has a 20% chance to inflict a frostbite. So that's a pretty neat thing, as well as gets a pretty good stab with 110. Obviously, like I said, it's a very powerful move. However, it has that annoying 80% accuracy thing, which is a little bit annoying. But it's still 80%, so it's not the worst thing in the world. So we're obviously going to make use out of that. It also costs 60 for energy, which is again not the worst thing ever. So we're gonna obviously gonna make use out of that. But yeah, also it gets two ability, Chilling Passion and Frostbite. We're not going for a secret ability either for Arceus or Glacadia, any of the roamings, because I have not got one of those before, so obviously I am not interested of going for one of those. But Chilling Passion is actually the ability we're going to be using, because the ability basically boosts our ice type moves, which we'll see here. The Chilling Passion, it basically ice type moves deals our ice type attacks deals 25% more damage, which is good because Glacadia is already an ice type, so that means we're gonna make you fully make use out of I've already forgot the move already. Frost Blast, and has this little ability. So I came up with this little strategy, and it came up pretty nicely. This strategy actually worked very good, and I came up with this little strategy that probably worked the best for Glacadia, in my opinion. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So without further ado, hope you enjoyed today's video, and let's get into the first battle. Alright, so let's jump into the first battle here, and hope you guys and girls are going to enjoy today's Loomian sweep. Now, the first battle here is against Tuber 93 Kid Cool, which, weird enough, I've seen players already all around the world using the name Kid Cool. I don't know where. I've been seeing a lot of them recently, and I'm getting a little curious why they named that way. Either way, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so this is going to be a battle against him. Now, the first Loomian he's going to have is Oxydrake, which is already a big annoying Loomian because this thing usually runs Driving Force. So I have to be careful because these things can end my sweep if I'm not be very gentle. So what I did this here is I knew this one's gonna have driving force. Is I'm gonna go for the tribute on my Weaselin, obviously. Then I'm gonna go for the important. And what I did here is I wanted to bake them out. So what I did here is I went for the boom bash, did a couple damage on them. Then I wanted to make them swap it out so I can go for a tribute and tribute the next Loomian if I managed to. So what I did is exactly what I did, because that's actually what happened. So I got the bait, and now they're going to swap into their tab, and I'm going to get myself a nice little tribute so I can freely swap it in to my Glacadia. Hope you guys and girls enjoy the first battle here, and enjoy the Glacadia sweep. Unfortunately, the first battle there ended with Mudagon tanking our attack and ended the sweep. The last Loomian was a Joltooth, which I would have been easily able to take it out, but at last, I sadly got a bit of a fail because of it. I normally get a lot of fails on this sweep, but this sweep actually only took me less than 5 attempts, so I got very lucky because of it. Now, this battle here, we're going to jump into the next one, and this is going to be against John. Now, this sweep, I got this sweep because I got extremely lucky, and you will see why. Now, he's going to be using a Meditoad, and I'm just going to go for the Scapegoat, just so, I don't know why, I just decided I wanted to do it. Meditoad is already pretty slow, so I could have just stalled a little bit of his energy, just for no reason. And I went for the Tribute at the end. Now, I didn't know what effort values this thing have. Most of them have very brawny, so I just generally just hope this was like one of those those same move pool Meditoad. So he's probably gonna have only Psycho Slap as the only move. I went for the Boom Bash just to get a nice little daze, which I luckily got it. But unexpectedly is that he actually has Hypnotize, so I thought, well, if he's going to have multiple moves, he's not going to be able to do a lot of damage on his Psycho Slap, so I went for another Tribute, and we're going to try again a nice little Glacadia sweep. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was incredibly crazy. They're going to go for Thunder Strike and failed, and it's time for the Glacadia sweep. Alright, so let's take a look at this Glacadia set. And boy, how did I live on 4 HP? That was incredibly lucky. And that might be the only reason why I got this week. Because I got very lucky living on that with 4 HP. Now let's take a look at this Glacadia set. And boy, I'm not sure if I ever used this word, but I was clinching. The word, I don't know. I was praying that I was landing the hit or I was living the attack, and I managed to live that one very, very, very much. So holy moly, that was an intense Glacadia sweep. Now let's take a look at this little build of mine. Now this, compared to most people you run, how you people run it, this is in my Glacadia set, just all you know. If you're obviously new to my channel, or if you're not, just let you know. Now, this is my Glacadia build. Now this is a pure nimble Ice Ascent set with Chilling Passion as the ability, because, well, obviously we have only one reason to use it. We got Shred Blast, Raging Howl, Peace of Mind, and Frost Blast. Peace of Mind to increase our range attack, and if in case we versus any range attacker, we'll have Peace of Mind to boost our stats from there. We have Shred Blast for our ancient coverage, Frost Blast for our mainly objective, and we have Raging Howl for a little coverage. Unfortunately, we didn't get to use Raging Howl almost ever. We only got to use it one time on the Eruptodon, but unfortunately, that thing used Magma Block, so yeah, that kind of ruined our chance to ever attack with Raging Howl. But besides that, it wasn't really that powerful with only 120 anyway. So yeah, but anyways, so that was our moveset. The effort values and the ups that I run was 170 for speed, max range attack, 78 for energy, and 52 for health. Now the reason why I run this one is I wanted to make use out of the move Frost Blast. However, with only running with an annoying 80% accuracy, it was hard for me to decide whether if I should risk it or not, because when it feels like an 80, it feels like a 50-50 or a 60% for me. And whenever it's a 70%, it feels like a 50-50. So it always feels like a 20% lower if it's not 100%. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm just not really much of a guy who likes to risk my attack on something that is not 100% accuracy, so yeah. But I still have to try at least. Now the effort values I run this one was max range attack, obviously. I give it 170 because already a very fast Loomian, so we didn't have to run max speed on this thing because that would be just too fast. And then I ran with a little bit of an energy with 78 for energy to make it a 300 because like I said, I was gonna attempt to try hit only with Frost Blast, but it was hard because I had to make sure the opponent was a neutral. It was a neutral type, so it's not a resisted type, because you know those things can be annoying, and I don't really have much moves on hitting resisted types. And that was the reason why I used Shred Blast most likely. And then we have 100, and then I ran 52 for health just to give it a little buff on health. That's really it, actually. And then we have Ice Ascends, so we can boost our Frost Blast and Chilling Passion. Now, Chilling Passion and Frost Ascend with +3 on range attack, it actually does an incredibly a good amount of damage. You should really try this out if you want to try it out. With +3, it actually only needs +3 in order to sweep with its base moves. It doesn't really need anything else besides that. Let me think of a strategy. So, if you want to change it up a little bit, in my opinion, this is only up to if you want to, people. This is a little option if you want to switch it up a little bit for this Glacadia moveset, in case you ever want to. If you want something a little more base power and something that is, you know, something that does not require you to using only a 70 base strength, like Shred Blast. Let me actually get this way quickly. You can switch it up to something else. Let me actually give it a look here, so I know this move pool in case I don't really usually look it up, but Let me give it a quick look here. Let me actually see what was this move pool. Like, I'm making sure so it doesn't, if I don't end up jinxing myself and say something completely else. Can I not get advertisement every time I have to look at something here? But anyways, yeah, hold on. Glacadia is where are you at? There we go. Okay, there it is. So yeah, so Glacadia's other moves that it can use from Rally, obviously, it can use the move. Let's see here. Where are they at? Where are you at? Come on. Energy Break. Sorry, that took me a little while. And then they also can learn Drago Beam. Sorry for a little bit of a long delay. I wasn't prepared to get this little move set on this MindWeek video, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So it has a better move, has a little bit more base power when using Energy Break. It does 85 strength, but it costs 54 on energy. Now, I decided when to run Shred Blast is because I wanted to make sure I don't waste too much energy in my sweep, because the thing about sweeps is that I don't like to use moves that cost over 50 always, because they always end up me have to wait for 100% hope and pray that I have to one-shot everything, because I can't rely on waiting if there's something that is probably something very dangerous that can hit me super hard. So I likely want to something that has a little bit more something that is not cost a lot of energy, let's just say that. So I decided I want to use Shred Blast. Now, if you want to switch up Shred Blast to Energy Break, that's a great option for you. You can definitely do that. For this, I use Shred Blast. That's why. And as for Frost Blast, if you want to, you can change this thing to a Frost Beam if you want to not rely on too much of missing, because you can definitely get a miss on that on that accuracy, 80% accuracy on Frost Blast. So you can only use Frost Beam. However, it will turn from 110 to 90 only. So you won't hit incredibly hard, but you'll hit a solid amount. So let's just say that. But for, obviously today's sweep, we only wanted to use Frost Blast for its signature move. And also, we're probably going to be using the one of its newly, not that signature. It's not really a signature move. It's just one of the new move it gets. And I'm certainly we're going to love to use Arthur's signature, or its new move. So, yeah, it's going to be very fun. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. My little move set and little strategy. What would you run in this Glacadia set? Would you run the same set as mine, or would you go for something else? Let me know in the comments below. And unfortunately, this is the best option. Now, Raging Howl is the only really move I really got to use, never really wanted to use in Sweep. It really doesn't have any option, because the thing is, Glacadia and Arcers really only have like 3 depending of option to use on their range or melee, depending a bit. So, Raging Howl, Frost Blast, and then you can use Energy Break or Shred Blast. That's probably the only 4 moves that really Glacadia really has useful to use. You don't have to do it, but that's my opinion. Besides that, that is pretty much it. The next one we're gonna be doing Arcerus. I'm not sure if I'll be getting it today or tomorrow, depending on it if I'm fast enough to get this one done. I might get it in the next later. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I get the Glacadia. I'm sorry, the Arcerus sweep later. It depends on me if I can get this video done in time. So without further ado, that is pretty much it for today's video. Check out my other videos. Subscribe, like the video if you want to. And check out some of my other, check out my playlist if you want to see some Loomian sweeps. I've done plenty of few of them. They were very back in the days when I wasn't a professional sweeper, but then again, who was actually? But anyways, that is pretty much it. Check out some of my other videos. And as always, stay lucky out there. Take care, boys and girls. And as always, stay lucky out there.